welcome to the Iferia TechCast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. I'm your host, Ezekiel Iferia, and today we are joined by Lin Wu, a pioneering engineer who arrived in the United States alone at 16 and went on to help architect the supercomputers that defied the dawn of Silicon Valley. A founder whose company was later acquired by Toshiba, Lin's journey from immigrant teenager to tech entrepreneur is a masterclass in resilience, resourcefulness, and raw technical ingenuity. He offers a first-hand account of the Valley's formative years, a time of physical hardware, audacious ideas, and building the future from the ground up. In this episode, we'll explore the engineering of life, the atmosphere of early innovation, and the timeless principle of grit and ambition. So, Lynn, it's a privilege to welcome you to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ezekiel. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience.
Great to have you here. So, let's get things started, Lynn. The story begins with an almost unimaginable challenge. You fleeing a revolution as a child and arriving in the US alone at 16. So can you paint a picture of that teenager? So what did you carry with you, and what was the first thing you had to figure out to simply survive?
I came. My dad brought me to the United States. He was a good doctor, and but he gave me $600 and found me a guardian, and then left me here after 1 week, and I lost communication with my dad for the next few years. Um, so I was suddenly put into a boarding school. It was a Seventh-day Adventist religious school. It's called the New Bar Park Academy. Very religious. They worship many times a day. I was not a Seventh Adventist, so it was kind of very foreign to me. I didn't know any language very well. I didn't know English, and I didn't know that my parents would not give me money afterwards. So after I start burning up the $600 within like a couple of months, paying tuition, room and board, I was surprised that my father did not send me any money. I was too embarrassed at that time to ask. I also did not ask my guardian. I was all alone in a foreign country without money and without the language. I slowly kind of find out in the school that there was a broom shop right next to the school where they have full-time professional broom stitching capabilities. So I finally got away into the broom shop. I rise from the bottom to be a broom stitcher. We get paid by peacetime, which means depending on how many broom I stitch a day, how many dozen, then they pay me accordingly. And that allowed me to work very hard. I did not have any social activities. The school was fairly easy, except those courses like religion or history. I don't have the language background. I found out that no matter how hard I study, I would not get any better grade. So I just kind of coast along. I did very well in science. So I spent almost most of my time in the broom shop. As a result, I made a pretty good money to pay for my room, board, and tuition for the next 2 years. And I graduated from Newberry Park to go to college. So that was the early part of my history. And I found out that I'm able to work hard and very focused and be able to be self-sufficient.
All right. Thank you for sharing that story with us. So you went from that starting point to the heart of Silicon Valley, worked. at the dawning of the supercomputer era. So, what first got you in? So, was it a specific skill or a chance encounter?
Well, I actually graduated from high school in
Mm-hmm.
Nobel Park. And after I worked in the broom shop, I saved enough money to allow me to go back East Coast. So I wanted to go to Princeton very badly, but I did not get my acceptance. Instead, I went to a technical college called Drexel Institute of Technology. I studied 3 years there. I got really excellent grades. Then I transferred to Columbia University
Mm,
in New York City, where I majored in electrical engineering. I received my bachelor and my master's degree. Then at that point, when you graduate from an Ivy League school and you have a master's degree and good grades, you can go to anywhere in terms of in the industry. So
mm,
I was recruited by IBM Corporation to join IBM in New York in their headquarter area, where I become a semiconductor designer. I was there for 3 years. I received two promotions, worked very hard, got married. Then there was an opportunity in Silicon Valley at the time. That was in the early 70s. So I was recruited by this company that started by Dr. Jim Amdahl, who was the founder of IBM System 360 operating system. So I joined Amdahl as kind of like a fairly low level entry level engineer, but I was one of the founding team. So that's how I got started.
okay, thank you for sharing that with us, Lynn. I am fascinated by the physicality of early computing. So, for our audience used to cloud servers and laptops today, what did it feel like to work on and help build the fastest computers of that era? So, what did they sound like, look like, and what was the energy like in that room?
Well, this is in the early 70s. So that's 55 years ago.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley was there's a very few company over here. We have Intel, we have National Semiconductor, and then we have our startup. It's a mainframe computer company we call Amdahl Corporation. It was founded by Dr. Jim Amdahl. He left IBM to start his own company. His IBM software at the time, the 360 operating system, was an open software anybody can build and attach to it. However, nobody has tried to build an IBM CPU compatible. They build a lot of memory compatible devices, but nobody has ever even tried to do this job. But Dr. Jamda decided that he wants to do this job, so he recruited 18 engineers. I was very fortunate to be on day one to join the group of 18 engineers, and we started a very long journey.
All right. Really interesting. So, being the foreigner amongst the people you were working with, did that perspective become a secret weapon in how you approached technical or business problems back then?
Well, I was a foreign immigrant. However, it never dawned on me that really I was a foreigner by the time I joined. So I came as part of the team. I was treated well, like one of them, and I worked hard. So getting ahead was, it's just a matter of my own destiny to work hard. I never had to worry about anything that's different. At the time, though, we had to work 12 hours a day.
Hmm.
Very, very hours. I would work from like 8 to 5 or 6, go home, have dinner quickly, and then drive back to the company and work again to midnight. It was really, really grilling for those few years. And we actually built a machine that was 2.5 times faster than IBM in the marketplace. Amdahl was extremely successful in delivering the fastest, very dense VLSI technology at the time. It was a very small machine, but was very powerful. It was in the same class of a mainframe computer. I would say it was almost a major revolution in the mainframe computer industry.
Okay, so Lin, founding a company is a huge leap. So what was the specific problem you were trying to solve when you decided to start your own venture?
After Amdahl, well, I was basically a technology person working in a computer company. Computer company are mostly designing logics and software, where we employ technology, of course, in the computer. So I deal a lot with people like Intel or National or all these semiconductor companies. So I'm kind of borderline of knowing computer design, but my specialty was in technology. So when I started my own company, um, I decided to do a custom design semiconductor chip that allow us to service at the time called servers. A lot of the company at that time, they don't have a microprocessor yet. All we have is several logic chips. You put them together, you make a CPU. The most advanced technology at the time consists of maybe four chips. There's a CPU chip, a memory chip, a channel chip, for input output, and then a controller. So my company at the time uh, designed a special computer aided software that allow us to custom design a chip using gate array technology, service various company. One of the company at the time that was our big customer was Apollo Computer. They were in Boston, and they were kind of the cream of the crop in terms of at the top of selling servers in the industry. So my company actually got into that business, and then we do the design. Then I have a relationship with Toshiba in Japan, and Toshiba has used it as a foundry. So we would do the design here in California. We will bring the file to Japan. We would manufacture chip in Toshiba. It was a very good combination. We would be able to leverage the capability of Toshiba, and the company was growing pretty nicely.
All right. So the acquisition by Toshiba is a major milestone. So from the inside, what does that process actually feel like for a founder?
I was the founder and CEO of Integrated CMOS System. That was the name of my company. The company was in Silicon Valley in the from the mid '80s to early '90s. We had Toshiba to be a foundry first, but I built a very strong relationship with the top man at Toshiba, and his name was Dr. Igawa. And he was a general manager of the semiconductor division. And we have built a lot of respect for each other. And after that, a lot of trust. So we have a lot of engineer exchange. He found out that we have a lot of know-how in the computer aided design area in terms of how to handle large scale integration, how to do the layout, how to do the testing, which are very crucial to make a big chip. And so I got them to be an investor in the company. Now, that's after I have 7 venture capital people in the valley already. We had some really, really big names that came in to invest in the company, including H&Q of San Francisco and uh, Rock Investment Venture from Rockefeller Foundation. So there were very, very big venture capital who were private uh, investors. So they were all very happy that I brought Toshiba in as a investor. And initially, they took on a very minor role in the company as an investor for technology licensing. And later on, they got even more interested in the company. And company has to decide if we're going to wait to grow the market or whether to take the opportunity and sell the company to Toshiba. And the board of directors decided that we should try to sell the company to Toshiba. And I kind of embarked on the journey going to Japan again. And I traveled back and forth many, many times. Um, I was born Chinese, so Japan was a foreigner to me, but I actually knew Japan better than China by that time. So I traveled to Japan with many, many times. And eventually, Dr. Igawa decided that he wanted to buy my company. And that was a very good success.
All
That
right.
was 1990s.
Great. Really interesting. So you funded your own education. So for the students and early career professionals listening, so what's one piece of frugal or resourceful advice from that time that you think still serves you today?
Sure. Um, I think starting up companies, it's very, very important to know product marketing, to know your product, to know what you're building or developing, and then to also know whether you can sell it or there is a real market for it. A lot of engineers are very much into product. They kind of build their own mousetrap. They kind of really into it about their own device, whatever they're inventing. They think it looks good, it's going to really, really be accepted well in the market. However, do you really have a market? Can you really sell it? Is it competitive? Can somebody else copy it? Um, a lot of questions. So it's very important for us to be very open-minded. Maybe we should try to do some marketing probe, try and see what feedback we get, or we could go to check out some competition to see what they're offering. It's very important, I think. You've got to have a market, and you've got to have a market first so we can sell. From that point on, the rest will follow. So that was kind of my 2 cents of advice.
Okay. So in your memoir, you write about grit, ambition, and tradition. So I'd like to ask, how do you see these three forces playing a role in an industry obsessed with disrupting the old?
You mean the change from the current industry from the previous industry?
Yes.
I th- I, I think the new industry moves much faster, is much broader, and you get instant feedback from people, from potential customers. So I think in that way, it's easier. On the other hand, because everything's so accessible, um, the competition is extremely high. And you could be doing here, but somebody in India or China could be doing the same thing. So the world is very, very flat, and all the information and knowledge are shared across the board. I think that's a major change from the time where we're trying to do the design.
All right, Lynn. So for the engineer or developer listening today who has a big idea but maybe feels like an outsider, so what's the first move you would advise them to make based on your own journey?
Well, there's a lot of ways to get going, right? I mean, you have a garage idea, you can start building some prototype, and you can take it to um, a company and see if your idea sells it. You can find partners, but you can also write a business plan, go to a venture capital firm and see if you'd be interested in getting venture capital funding. Sometimes in the early stage, venture capital are not that interested. They're only interested if you have an idea that you already developed to a point where you possibly could succeed. So there's people that are doing the what we call it seeding. People do seed the company. They will come out with $250,000, $500,000, just to get the idea to a point where you prove feasibility. You can prove a precursor. And so my advice would be realistic and trying to do a step at a time, not overcommit yourself, because once you get on the wrong start and you go down the wrong path, um, or don't have enough money, then restart is much harder.
All right. So you have seen multiple technological revolutions. So are there anything about today's AI moment that reminds you of the early supercomputer days?
Well, I think the AI, the competition now is very, very high.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what does one winner takes it all. I don't think that might be the case. I think people are still going to learn from each other. And domestically here, we have a lot of hurdles because we have a lot of rules and regulations that the government keep us from doing this and that. For example, a drone is kind of a form of AI, the flying delivery, that never take off. Why? Because there's security reasons, there's privacy protections. People just don't want drones to flying all around your house to do delivery for Amazon. So, however, you go to China, it's more government regulated. If the government don't say anything, people basically can do anything they wanted to. Even there's downfalls or risks involved of making progress. So the lessons here is that how do we balance each other in terms of the risk and the reward for our product?
All right. All right. Really interesting one. So after a life, spent after a life spent turning ideas into reality, from hardwares to companies. So I'd like to know, what does the word innovation truly mean to you now, Lin?
Well, if you look up dictionary, I guess innovation means to invent something. Uh, there's different ways, right? I mean, a researcher guy write a paper, he could be inventing or innovate an idea. For an engineer, you have to put it into practice. So to me, innovation means you develop something, put in practice, and has usefulness. Somebody some usefulness for the idea to feel that he rewarded. You don't just kind of come up with an idea and shelf that. So I think innovation means you're inventing something that will reach the market and reach a reasonable utilization level.
All right, that's an amazing one. So, finally, your memoir sounds like an essential slice of tech history. So, for our listeners who want to go hear the full story, so what's the best place for them to find destination Silicon Valley?
It is published on Amazon now. Just type in my name, Lin Wu book, or Destination Silicon Valley, and you will find the book in e-form, in paperback, and in hardback. They all are pretty reasonable priced. I think if you order the paperback, it will arrive probably a little bit sooner than the hardback. Of course, the ebook will arrive instantly. In there are 29 chapters. A lot of it have to do with my early days, but the last 7 chapters were all concentrated about my life as engineer at Amdahl Corporation, starting from day one as a founding member of the team. And it shows clearly what we went through in 4 to 5 years of developing the fastest mainframe computer. And that particular computer we shipped, when we first shipped it, it became the fastest mainframe in the world, beating IBM by 2.5 times. That was a very, very great success. So people may enjoy reading that story and see all the up and downs and all the strategy changes. The investors attitude, and then international partnerships with manufacturing partners. So there were just a great deal of conflict or challenges, as I say, involved in terms of making that particular computer, but we made it.
All right, Lin, it's been a truly, truly insightful and essential conversation with you here today, and I am very, very excited and, of course, privileged to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Ezekiel. That was very fun. Talk to you.